Hi everyone, welcome back to our third video or our third lesson on biblical exegesis. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you now, and we'll get started. I'll get rid of my Zoom window. Okay, so for our third video, again, this is brought to you by Scribe and Scroll, creative Christian content, www.scribeandscroll.com. Okay, so biblical exegesis, part 3, video 3. We'll have one more to follow after this, where we will take everything that we've learned and we will apply it and we'll exegete scripture together using all the resources at our disposal that we've gone over in what will be these last 3 videos. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about other tools. So if we remember from our last 2 videos, and if you don't remember, I encourage you to go rewatch them. We talked about doing interlinear studies. So we take a passage of scripture and we look it up in a few different translations. So we get a gist of what the author was intending to say based on a couple different translations. We do word studies. So we identify words, patterns, literary devices within the passage that we're reading. So we're gathering information and we're remembering as we do this that the intent is to exegete the scripture using the historical grammatical hermeneutic in determining what the original author intended for his original audience, taking into context what was going on in the context of that time. I also want to say, in case I haven't, that if you don't have a Bible study Bible, I really recommend getting one. In the front of each book, it gives a wealth of information, the background, the culture, the author, when it was written, really important information to know. And also the Bible studies, they have scholarly notes at the bottom, and sometimes on the side for further information on what's going on in the passage. So if you don't have a study Bible, I highly recommend getting one. You could go to Goodwill. Goodwill has lots of books, and I often see lots of different Bibles there. So moving forward, today we're going to talk about other tools that we have for doing our exegesis. We have commentaries, which are going to be books written by scholars and theologians who have gone before us, who have done all of the work and the education, and they've brought all the information in to specific books called commentaries. For instance, commentary on the book of Matthew. And so the scholar will have written a book on the book of Matthew, sort of going through the entire book and deciphering it and doing background information and what was going on at that time and what most theologians agree, and then often and sometimes what the differing schools of thought believe about each individual passage, which is why exegesis is so important, because a lot in the Bible is left up for interpretation. And so there's a lot of different schools of thought. And also you want to know when you're picking an author for your commentaries that it's a scholar that agrees with what you agree with. So whether you're Reformed or whether you are more charismatic or liberal, you want to make sure that you're picking a book and a scholarly author that aligns with your belief system. Surveys. We'll just take a look really quick about surveys. And it's just another tool that we can use to reference when we are studying our passages and determining what the original meaning was intended by the author who wrote it, and then historical backgrounds, also books. I'm going to give you a few screenshots here of some of my books. I prefer books, but I do use some online resources too. And we're going to go over some of those online resources. Very valuable and free. So books can be expensive, but online resources are free. And like I said, I prefer books, but we're going to touch on blueletterbible.org, which is my favorite, and I use it quite frequently. Okay, so here I've got a picture for you on some commentaries. You can see the Christ-centered exposition right here on the book of Matthew. And then this is a commentary on the book of Luke. I would recommend, if you can, pausing the screen and zooming in so that you can read some of this information if you're not familiar with commentaries. And then here's an close-up shot of a commentary on the book of Luke. And you can just read over a section here and really get a meaning for what a commentary is about. The biblical author who has gone and done his schooling has gathered all of the information for us and puts it into written form. So it's easier for us to glean off of the work that they've already done. And so here we've got a screenshot of an Old Testament survey. And when you're getting your other resources, a lot of them, aside from the commentaries, you want an Old Testament resource and a New Testament resource. And some resources cover the entirety of the Bible, such as this handbook that I have here of Zondervan. It's from Genesis to Revelation. But some of the resources will be just specific to New Testament and specific to Old Testament. So if you are wanting to develop your own home library for doing biblical exegesis, you're going to want to have a resource for the Old Testament, or a few resources for the Old Testament as well as the New Testament. And this is an up-close shot of the Zondervan handbook. I really enjoy this one as well. And the next screenshot, you'll see my favorites here. Really well written, easy to understand, a wealth of knowledge. And if you zoom into this screenshot, you can just read a little bit and see just how valuable these other resources are when we're doing biblical exegesis. And then here is a picture of an illustrated Bible dictionary, one of probably my favorite books in my library. So it's going to go from A to Z. Anything that you want to know in the Bible, from the cross to specific animals at that time, to kings at that time, to different regions and locations and towns and cities at that time, and like A to Z. You can go look it up, and then you just have a wealth of information telling you everything about that topic. Really, really valuable. I love my Bible dictionary. Okay, and so here is a screenshot of the Bible dictionary opened up, and you can see how it illustrates what I just said. And we're turned to M right now. It's got man of lawlessness to start, man of sin. And so you can just, if you zoom in and just sort of read a little bit, you can see manuscript. So here it has mantle. So if you're in the charismatic, or even not, mantle is used frequent enough in scripture that it doesn't have to just pertain to the charismatic thought of being given someone's mantle. But you can see here that it says, see dress. So if you're looking up what exactly is a mantle, not what online teachers are saying is a mantle, or what different sermons you might hear throws off a red flag, and you're like, wait a second, I need to dig that up for myself. I need to dig deeper and verify if what I just heard or what I just learned in this sermon or this online teaching is correct. Then I would go to my Bible dictionary, I would see mantle, and the Bible dictionary is pointing me to dress. So then I'm going to turn to the D's and find dress, and then I'm going to read everything under dress to further understand just exactly what is a mantle, because online teachers or sermons or pastors, they can preach on a message, teach on a message, and they might be using mantle in one way that is not the way it's used in scripture. And so that's really what we want to hone in on, is we want to know, what is scripture saying about this? That's great. We have teachers to help us understand, but we need to know for ourselves. We need to verify, and we need to know what is true to the text of scripture and what is being taught. And so there you go.